Hey guys, my name is Jay, and this is my first video that I'll be making as regards to. Uh, Let me just present myself. I'm a big basketball fan. I've watched basketball since I was 5 years old. I enjoy watching. My favorite team is the Los Angeles Lakers. Now listen, I was a huge fan back when they had guys like Anthony Peeler, Cedric Sabalas, or back in the day, as well as I think it was at some point they even had Sean Rooks. I think he played for the Clippers also, and next Eldon Campbell. Who can forget Eldon Campbell? But the point about tonight is just to talk about the first game of the playoffs that we just saw. Regarding one particular game stands out the most, and this was the Minnesota, which I just watched, the Minnesota Timberwolves against the Houston Rockets, and this game really bothered me regarding the Minnesota Timberwolves. They did not capitalize on this game, and I think it's going to cost them the series. I honestly feel like when you have a team like Houston who shot. Here's another thing. I'm not a big stats person. I'm more of a, you watch the game and you understand the game and you've played the games, because I played a little bit of it in high school, not so much in college, but played it all throughout middle school and played it all growing up, with kids. But I've always watched it. And the thing that bothered me today was the fact that the team, Houston, didn't shoot well from behind the arc. They shot, I think I looked at the numbers right now on my phone, it was like 27% from 3-point. And they normally don't shoot like that. And you got to capitalize on situations like that. And you got to capitalize on games like this because they're giving you the game, in essence. But there was a lot of problems. One that they actually talked about at halftime with Charles Barkley and Kenny Jet Smith and the whole gang. They mentioned how Chuck mentioned that how the defense, when they switch, because Houston switches everything, is when K-Town would be down on the low block, Karl Anthony Towns would be down on the low block, and as opposed to giving him the ball, the point guard, which would be Jeff Teague, would take advantage of it and wouldn't take advantage of it and just go one-on-one with the center Capella. He wouldn't take advantage of using the center K-Town and throwing it down to the low post, because I think K-Town, they were switched at one point, Chris Paul, and then even Evan Turner was guarding him, and they never gave that to him, and that carried over the second half also. But that's not my problem. Everyone was pointing that out. Everyone, even Chris Webber, the announcer of the game, was pointing out the fact that he wasn't getting the ball, meaning Karl Anthony Towns, that they weren't giving him the ball when he was supposed to get the ball. Yes, that's the coach's fault in some ways, and yes, you can't continue going that way if you ever want to win a series and not taking advantage of the advantages that you have in a playoff situation, especially right now when every game and every play counts, correct? So, but the whole thing that really bothered me is Houston gave this game to Minnesota. This is a game that Minnesota is supposed to look at. Is going to look at themselves and they're going to say, we should have won this game. Period. There's no question. I have a problem with Karl Anthony Towns. I think he's got an extraordinary amount of talent. I mean, talent that I wish I had, being 7-footer, being able to shoot the three, being able to score on the low block, being able to dribble between the legs, being able to dribble like a guard. In some ways, he's a freak of nature. And the thing about it, when Chris Webber, sorry about the music, it's a little too sad. I get it. The thing about tonight was Karl Anthony Towns wasn't hungry enough. He doesn't have what I call the it factor. The team, and yeah, is going to criticize you, the coach. They're going to criticize the coach for not giving the block. But as a player, as a guy with such extraordinary talent, I never saw him once, not once, go down to the low block and say, "Give me the goddamn ball." Like, just give me the ball. Period. He didn't. Not once. And when you want it as bad as anyone, and you're in the playoffs for the first time in 11 years or something, you bring a franchise, you got to show up. Period. I don't care if you're a rookie. I don't care if you're a veteran. You got to show up for not just your fans, but for yourself. You're in the NBA, man. Like, people would kill to have that opportunity, especially your talent. Like, I guess I got so frustrated watching it that they kept saying that they're not taking advantage of it, but the player himself. I'll give you an example. Like, if it was LeBron James and he knew he was down on the block and he had a guy like Pritchard's Paul or something, I guarantee you he's gonna find a way to get the ball down low, even though that's not his personality, because he's more of a passer, and facilitates and creates for others. But he's gonna find a way to take advantage of the advantage that he has. Same with greatness like Kobe Bryant or even Steph Curry, when he has a guy that's humongous and a guard, and he's got him dancing around the 3-point line. He's gonna create space to get that shot up. Karl Anthony Towns needs to realize that this is his time to shine. He needs to. Someone needs to, I don't know if Jimmy Butler needs to talk to him, or somebody needs to go up to him and tell him, listen, if we don't get you the ball, you got to talk to us and say, give me the damn ball, because you're the man. There's not one player in there that has your talent, your height advantage, and your skill set. Period. Period. The best player I get is James Harden, because he's so talented. He's got 3-point depth. He creates space on his shots. He can get you in foul trouble. He can create shots for others. Capella. Alley-oop. It's like the same play. And there's not one defense that can figure that out. I find that hard to believe. I'm not going to sit there and watch tape over and over, but it seems like he does the pick and roll. Either he gets the layup or he throws it up in a lob. And it's kind of ridiculous. I know it's easier said than done, but there's got to be defensive schemes, kind of like in football, where they hide a little bit of these schemes, these defensive nickelback defenses, and so on and so forth. I'm sorry if I'm using their terms wrong, but there's no effort in that. It's the same play over and over, and it's almost like, what are you guys doing? They just laughing in your face, just doing the same play over and over. You guys can't figure it out. You guys have been playing in the NBA. You guys can't figure that out. So I blame a little bit of the coaches, but the players as well. I'd probably give a little knock to James Harden, just to let him know, stop. Like, this has got to stop. You're going to be going down in the basket, and you're going to do the same lob. I'm going to give you a little foul. Even if it's a flagrant one, not trying to hurt the guy to lose him in the series, but a little, hurt him in a little chops just to let him know, stop. But I was very frustrated today by how the Minnesota Timberwolves played. I think Derrick Rose surprisingly came out and showed him a little bit about himself. Derrick Rose played a phenomenal game coming off the bench. He played better than Teague. Teague looked kind of lost out there, a little intimidated. But it seemed, I don't know, Jimmy Butler looked hurt. He didn't look like Jimmy Butler the way we used to see him. I'm not sure what happened to his wrist. I know he's got knee problems and so on and so forth, but yeah, I was very disappointed in the play of Minnesota, and I think this game in particular, I don't see Houston shooting 27%. It wasn't even the D. It's just they weren't making shots. And you go back to Houston the next game, you're not going to shoot 27%. So, yeah, thank you for listening. Any thoughts, please share. And I'm still rooting for a series here, but I think this is one that's really cost Minnesota, and I hope somebody can talk to K Towns, which is most likely not, but and kind of just tell him, just be aggressive, just be yourself, be a beast. It's like that one movie from Swingers, I think it's called. I can't forget the guy's name, where he mentions that there's a scene where you're like this little bear with big claws, and the Houston Rockets is like a little bunny, you know, and you got these big claws, and you don't want to hurt the bunny, but you want to scare it a little bit. You want to hit it with your. I'm going off topic. It's just I really am tired, and I wanted Minnesota to win this one so bad, at least for their confidence and to make this an actual series. But this was a big loss for them. Hopefully they can bounce back somehow, but I just don't see it.